Reading informational text 7.2 states, determine the central idea of a text and analyze its development over the course of a text. If you're watching this video, you have already shown me that you can do the first part of this standard. You are consistently able to determine the central idea of a text. So what you're going to learn then today is how to analyze the development of that central idea throughout the text. So your goal by the end of the period is that you should be able to write a paragraph explaining how the author develops the central idea. So throughout the video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the first text in your text set, Seahawks to stand, lock arms during national anthem. And I'm going to start by chunking it for you. So you are going to pause the video when I drag out that pause button, and you're actually just going to copy down the key details and the main idea for each section of the text. So let's get started. Seahawks to stand, lock arms during the national anthem. The team was inspired by the 49er Colin Kaepernick's national anthem protest over social inequality. The Seattle Seahawks will present a unified, it says it's supposed to be unified. The Seattle Seahawks will present a unified front during the playing of the national anthem prior to Sunday's season opener against the Miami Dolphins. Wide receiver Doug Baldwin unveiled the team's plan via a video posting on his Twitter page, saying the Seahawks have chosen to stand and interlock arms in unity. So some of the details that I thought were really important were that they were showing a unified front. It was all about that unified or unitide front, that it was revealed on Twitter, and that the way that they were going to show that unified front was by interlocking arms. So after looking at these first two paragraphs, I thought that the main idea of this chunk was that the choice to interlock arms was meant to show that the team is all on the same page. They are acting as one team in making this decision. So I'm going to ask you to pause the video now and to write down the key details and the main idea for that chunk. So let's look at chunk 2. Baldwin said the idea was hatched among his teammates in the wake of San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick's decision to kneel during the national anthem in the preseason as a protest of social inequality. If you don't know what hatched means, it means like it was prompted, that they came up with the idea in the wake when they were talking about what Colin Kaepernick had done. Seahawks cornerback Jeremy Lane kneeled for the anthem during the final preseason game, calling his gesture a measure of support for Kaepernick. That sparked a debate among Seattle's players on how they would proceed. So the key details that I thought were important in this chunk was that it was prompted by Kaepernick's decision. So what Colin Kaepernick had done and the choice that he made, that sparked the conversation between the team, the Seattle Seahawks. That it was all about protesting social inequality. And that Jeremy Lane, another member of the Seahawks, had already done something to stand with Colin Kaepernick in kneeling, and so they were just joining this protest. So the main idea then of this section is that Kaepernick's decision prompted the team to start conversations about how to respond. So I'm going to ask for you to pause the video and write down the key details and main idea of this chunk. Okay, let's work on chunk 3. We are a team comprised of individuals with diverse backgrounds, Baldwin explained in the video. We honor those who have fought for the freedom we cherish, and we stand to ensure that the riches of freedom and the security of justice for all people. Progress can and will be made only if we stand together. Sunday's game is the 15th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. As part of the pregame ceremonies, the Seahawks will honor all branches of the military, along with local police, firefighters, and EMTs. Okay, so the key details that I thought were important in this section was that, let's see if I can drag it over, was that the Seahawks, the players on the Seahawks come from really diverse backgrounds, both racial and cultural diverse backgrounds, that they really honor those who fought for the freedom their freedom, but that they're wanting that freedom to really be for all people, right? Oh, sorry, I'm forgetting to highlight for you. So it's diverse backgrounds. They're really honoring those who fought for freedom. But they're not sure that freedom right now in America is really for all people. So they want to make sure or ensure that it's for all people, that all people have equal access to freedom. And that this game was meant to be in honor of all different types of service people: military, local police, firefighters, EMT. Okay, so the main idea then I thought was kind of Baldwin's quote when he talks about how the Seahawks really do want to honor those who fight for freedom in the U.S. That their choice really is to make sure that all people experience that same freedom. Okay, I'm going to ask you to pause the video right now and write down the key details and main idea. With emotions expected to be so high, Baldwin on Friday told local media that it was absolutely amazing in how the team came to such a decision to interlock arms. It makes me want to cry almost, just how our team has handled this and the decisions we've had and how we've come together, Baldwin said. So the key details in this section are that the team made the decision together. So Baldwin keeps coming back to the idea that it is a team decision. They made the decision together. And that it's a show of their unity. So they started with discussions, and this is really about them coming together and showing that they are unified in wanting to fight for equal freedom for all. So the main idea then for this chunk is that the decision to interlock arms was decided on as a whole team. Pause the video now and finish writing down the key details and main idea for this chunk. Okay, let's get started looking at then how we are going to come to this paragraph, or how we're going to build this paragraph that demonstrates the development of the central idea. So you're going to start first by looking at you're going to start first by describing the central idea. And you're actually going to use the sentence, the central idea of the text is blank. So I'm going to state the central idea of the text: Seahawks to stand, lock arms during the national anthem. So I'm actually stating the title of the text is that the Seahawks are unified in advocating for equal freedom for all in the United States. So when I looked at my 4 main ideas, the choice to interlock arms was meant to show that the team was all on the same page. Kaepernick's decision prompted the team to start conversations about how to respond. The Seahawks honor those who fight for freedom in the U.S., and their choice was to make sure that all people experience the same freedom that was fought for. And their decision to interlock arms was the decision made by the whole team. I felt like when I looked at all of those, that really the argument that was being made was that they are standing together with this unified front in advocating for equal freedom for all people in the United States. So now I'm going to start by discussing how the author builds this argument, and I'm really going to rely heavily on my 4 main ideas. So as I go, I want to highlight for you some of the sentence starters that I'm using. So I'm going to highlight those in pink. So I'm going to start by saying the author begins by. So one of the ways that I can start discussing what the author is doing in revealing the central idea is by saying the author begins by, or the author starts by. So the author begins by discussing Baldwin's tweet, which explains that the choice to interlock arms was meant to show that the team is all on the same page. Notice how similar that first sentence is to my first main idea, that they're all on the same page. Kaepernick's decision prompted the team to start conversations about how the issue issues he was protesting and how to respond. So that's coming directly from my second main idea. The author highlights Baldwin's argument that although they honor those who have fought for freedom, they are taking this stand to make sure that all people experience that freedom. In the final few paragraphs, the author reiterates that the decision to interlock arms was meant as a symbol that all members of the Seahawks, no matter the race, are unified in their fight for equality for all. Okay, something I want you to notice. In my middle sentences, I am outlining the arguments or the moves the author is making to help me as a reader understand or come to the same idea, his big picture argument, his central idea. And I want you to notice how similar they are to my four main ideas. I'm really using the same language in showing how the author develops the central idea. And then in the end, the author, if it's a good argumentative text, and the ones that you've been given today are, the author is really going to come back to that central idea in the end. And so I'm going to end by finishing by coming back and kind of restating the central idea in a different way. So in the final few paragraphs, the author reiterates that. And here, again, the decision to interlock arms was meant as a symbol that all members of the Seahawks, no matter their race, are unified in their fight for equality for all. So that, again, is very similar to I'm coming back to my central idea that this is really about advocating for freedom for all in the United States. Okay, you're going to go back right now and you are going to chunk your second and third text in the text set. And then what you're going to do is you're going to choose either of those two, and you need to write a paragraph like this that shows the development of the central idea. You're going to find some great resources on the Schoology page for this. Please make sure that you are using some of those sentence starters throughout. Get started.